Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Paul Lopez.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
And good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Let's jump straight into some of the conversations we have lined up for you guys this morning, starting off with empowering communities through diabetes education, unlocking global education for Belizeans with the Chevening scholarships, and crowning confidence. Meet the Miss Belmopan Delegates.
Excellent conversations.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
how you doing?
I am doing well. It's Tuesday morning. We're off to the races where September is concerned. I talked about it last week.
You see the decorations are coming out?
They're coming out. We asked about them last week. We're trying to figure out, all right, where is this sort of patriotic decorations and vibe? Well, it's here, and more is expected to come. But yeah, this is the last week in August, and so that means that we are moving full steam ahead into September. First weekend, we're looking at Carnival. Second week, we're looking at the 10th of September celebrations. The third week, we're at least going into the fourth, we're looking at the 21st celebration. So just a month full of celebrations and excitement and partying and patriotism. And don't forget the holidays. Don't we love holidays as Belizeans? And so all of that we're looking forward to and anticipating later on next month. And so I'm excited about all of it.
Hopefully we get some rest in between and you guys as well. But let's move things along, Paul. We have some topics that we think you guys should know before you leave your homes this morning.
So here are 5 topics that definitely we're discussing and you should be discussing as well. First, police and government deny involvement in Joseph Budna's abduction. Very hot topic, conversation still ongoing. Physical abuse or tough parenting. Viral video sparks debate. There's a video online right now where you hear some distressing cries from some children in a home, reportedly in the Corozal district. So it's sparking some debate there. Third conversation, first case of New World screwworm in a human reported in the U.S. We've confirmed 2 cases in Belize. Well, the U.S. got its first reported case over the weekend. Fourth, Carnival King and Queen set stage for a 2025 road march. We're just talking a bit about Carnival and September celebrations. Well, the King and Queen competition took place over the weekend. We'll be touching a bit on that one later on. And last but certainly not least, the biggest thing happening tonight on TV, on your screen, on your devices. KTV, the remix season 7 ends the season on a high note.
Yeah, it's a finale. But let's jump into it, Paul. I know that for the better part of this week, we may be talking about Joseph Budna. You would know that this was a topic that came fresh on the heels of the weekend. Of course, April and Isani spoke lengthy about it yesterday, but we were able to get official comments from not only the Prime Minister, but the Commissioner of Police as well. I believe we also got a comment from the Foreign Minister on the matter involving Joseph Budna. I'll tell you, I've been following as much as I possibly can online, getting
a lot to follow.
All the different perspectives from persons. And I know that it's quite a mixed review when it comes to lending a level of empathy towards what took place with Joseph Budna and the questions involved, whether he was illegally abducted by Guatemalan officials or if there were some form of Belizean counterparts involved. But it's the stories too. You did a lengthy kind of like chronicle of his rap sheet.
Very long chronicle.
All the way back to early 2000s. I also saw other media houses and their coverage of it as well. I feel like he's going to go down a legend at this point. When you really talk about, or when you really highlight the way that he has escaped multiple prisons or multiple, I'd say, prisons and control from police officers. How does he do it? I don't know.
It seems like he has a fan.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm just curious of the way that he's been able to attempt escape from the Belize Central Prison. You showed the wall there, and then in Guatemala as well.
Twice. Yeah, it definitely makes for a Netflix series, if nothing else, a thriller with some drama and a whole heap of controversy involved. It definitely sounds like something you'd sit down and binge. I don't know. But yesterday we got comments from first the Prime Minister, and let's address that one, because I know that the Prime Minister got a lot of criticism where his response to this entire situation is concerned. So the Prime Minister was at an event here in Belize City, the launch of Climate Week here at the showroom, at the Caribbean Motors showroom. And after he finished his speak, he was making his exit, and he gracefully gave the media an interview, or agreed to do an interview, which when you're dealing with the Prime Minister, you're not always sure what his schedule is and whether he'll be available to do an interview. And so this was one of the cases where I personally felt as if he was leaving the ceremony early because he was super busy, and so he wouldn't give an interview. And I thought to myself, perhaps what would influence that decision as well would be that this whole Joseph Budna thing was boiling over at the point, and I figured that perhaps he doesn't have enough details to really address and speak on the matter with a lot of clarity, right? But he did agree to give an interview. He did agree to speak with the media. And so we started with questions on the climate issue. And then the first question that was posed to him where the Joseph Budna thing is concerned is really at the center of a great deal of criticism, because Marisol Amaya from CREM, XTV, asked the Prime Minister directly if this extrajudicial extradition was state sanctioned. It's a big question. It's a big ask, and for me, while some may say, oh, it's an unnecessary question, I think it's an important question to dispel whatever speculation is out there, or confirm if that would be the case, because we don't know what his answer would be at that point. And the Prime Minister took a long pause, and that's where people are really questioning the genuinity or the genuineness behind his comments, because he took a long pause, right? And we could spend time breaking down that pause and analyzing that pause. I went back and I realized the pause was only like 5 to 8 seconds.
In an interview, that's a long time.
It feels, because it's dead air. And then he answered the question directly. What I think, and this is just me giving my view based on interviewing the Prime Minister before, I think that he knew this question would have been asked, along with other questions. I don't know that he foresaw the first question being so direct. And so, in my mind, I think the Prime Minister already had comments that he wanted to make about the situation, and perhaps he felt as if the question would have eased him, or there would have been a question that would ease him into the topic, right? And so I think he spent time analyzing or assessing the answer that he would have had prepared, and then he realized that it wouldn't fit to the question that was being asked. And so he said, all right, let me answer your question directly. And perhaps he also didn't want to come off as rude or mean, or as to say whatever he wanted to say, really, right? And so the way he answered the question came out the way it did. That's all I'm saying, and I'm just taking a little time, uneducated analysis of what that pause could have really meant. He was trying to be careful with what he was saying about this situation, because it has become an issue of national security. It has become a cross-border diplomatic issue as well, given how this whole thing played out.
And I think that's the key point right there, Paul, because when I opened the conversation on this topic, I was essentially saying that there's a divided view on it. As you mentioned, the Prime Minister cannot go without acknowledging the national issue involved here and the national concerns involved here. But then there's also the other aspect where persons are saying, yo, like, let's not forget that there are minors who were abused. This isn't an alleged situation. He was convicted of these charges. He was supposed to face time. He escaped prison. And so there are people who are saying, look, yeah, the national issue, we get it, but let's not forget that he should be in prison from a long time ago. So I'm not certain. I think that could be one of the reasons why the Prime Minister was a little bit calculated in his response, because there are two strong opinions on the table right now, and two things can be true.
And it's crazy that, well, a lot of people see it as crazy that the other side of the coin, where there is a great deal of support for Joseph Boudna here in Belize, that it even exists, right? But it just goes to show you perhaps the personality that he had, the way he presented himself, appealed to a lot of people across this country.
Even recognizing him as a legitimate journalist.
Yeah, I don't. I personally don't, and I challenged him on that. Sometime in August of last year. And when I challenged him on that in an interview, he basically said, I asked him what his qualifications is to be a journalist, basically. And he was like, oh, well, I used to work for this media house and that media house as a freelance. And it's a fact, right? So there were times when he were employed way back as a freelance journalist. In any event, to the Prime Minister's statement, so then he responded to the first question to say absolutely not. This was not state sanctioned, so denying and dispelling allegations that the state is behind this, specifically cabinet and the government of the day. And then the second question that was asked to him is also something that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as you alluded to, responded to, which is, did Guatemalan authorities come on Belizean soil to carry out this operation? He, because again of how premature the investigation is, did not respond with a direct no, right? And I think that is why the Ministry of Foreign Affairs felt the need to follow up in perhaps the hour after to say this was not Guatemalan authorities coming on Belizean soil to carry out an operation. What the Prime Minister said, hey, I don't know that is the case, but let the investigation do its thing, and then we'll find out exactly what happened. And so the Ministry of Foreign Affairs clarified that that's not the case. And then the Prime Minister walked away after a couple more questions. This is where we take issues at times, because I play out in my mind over and over as a journalist how this could possibly play out, perhaps in his favor, if he stays, answers the questions, says there's no comments, says we'll wait for the investigation to happen. If that is all you know, if all you know is all you know, which is limited information, then that is all that you can provide. And so nothing is wrong in answering whatever hard-hitting or pressing questions. Nothing is wrong in saying, this is all I know, this is all information I can provide. And when that takes its course and finishes its course in terms of those line of questioning, move on to another topic. Instead of, this is where a lot of the backlash comes.
Getting defensive.
Just, one, getting defensive, and then two, walking away from the interview completely.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people takes issue with. And some people read into it, for me, a little bit too much in terms of what's happening there and what message is being sent across. But I don't blame people, because then what else can they think or what else can they say when the Prime Minister walks away from an interview? And perhaps he's busy, is a leader of a nation.
Being busy or not, I think
Right,
it's
so-
rude to walk off when you have journalists doing their job. And
Right.
these are questions related to a national issue at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
And also people recognizing how much of a high profile this case will be as
Yeah,
well.
so I don't know-
Let's not forget there are real victims involved too.
Right, so I don't know what he was thinking about the questions we were asking, or if he thought they were unnecessary or ridiculous questions, perhaps. But the truth of the fact is, based on what everybody saw, he walked away from the interview. So later, so that's the PM denying. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs offering some clarity and stating that they're working with their counterparts in Guatemala. And then later on in the afternoon, we heard from the police, the Commissioner of Police himself, Dr. Richard Rosado, who categorically and flatly denied any sort of involvement by the police in this case.
Now let's quickly highlight the importance of that.
Yeah.
Mr. Budna went on record on a voice recording essentially saying that he heard police officers interacting with what he believes to be a person named Karim. He also brought up the compal in question as well, suggesting that there was some type of involvement between the police officer and even the compal.
Yeah, so I don't know to what extent one can believe all that is being said in the recording simply because what the facts state about Mr. Budna's record and what the facts states about the wrongdoings and the convictions leaves a lot to be desired. I'm not saying it's true, I'm not saying it's false. All I'm saying is that his past does not lend to credibility. His past does not lend to a great deal of confidence where certain accounts are concerned, right? So that's one thing. Now, I don't know as yet, because clarity wasn't provided on this, how is it that the Commissioner of Police at the initial phase of such a huge investigation can categorically state that police was not involved, or that police officers were not involved, right? I think that's a huge question here. What led you to categorically believe that police officers are not involved?
In the preliminary stages.
In the preliminary stages. Are you saying then that you know something the public does not know and you're simply not revealing it to us? Are you saying that you've been able to speak with every single police officers, if not officers commanding every single station or division, and then you can categorically say that police officers were not involved? What if these were rogue police officers that, well, if you're a rogue, you won't make your intentions or your actions, especially in this case, known? So that's the big question that comes out of that press conference for me. And I've seen the question posted online as well from a couple different parties. And so this is one of those things that we'll continue to follow and see if we could really get to the bottom of how Mr. Budna went from Orange Walk to Arenal, and how he got there, right? The other aspect of it, well, he's in the hands of Guatemalan authorities, so they will have to deal with that part.
I just want to quickly acknowledge some input from you guys online. We have Lucian saying, Paul, let's write the treatment and propose it to Netflix. I'm assuming he's referring to the entire story of Bodna. We have Avonda Jones saying, referring to the Prime Minister, he was really frustrated. The pause was needed. Someone else saying, Ophelia Chuck, he walks off because he knows that he messed up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people are entitled to their opinion on this matter. It strikes me too, though, that the Guatemalan officials they seem to be releasing information sparingly. And with a little bit of clarity, but yeah, this is just something we'll continue to follow.
All right, well, let's move things along a little bit more on a lighter note, and I say a little bit because I know at Carnival it comes its own tensions, right? But you
surprisingly not this year.
Well, that's great.
So far,
you were at the Carnival King and Queen competition over the weekend. I know it brought about its fanfare, and it was beautiful. I saw some clips of it in the coverage last night in the newscast as well. We are getting closer and closer to Carnival Day, which is one more weekend from now. Over the weekend, there was the crowning of Carnival King and Queen. We saw most of the bands come forward and showcase their king and queen. This, I think, is one of the more important competitions of the Carnival celebration itself.
Look at that.
Because of the displays that you would see. Normally, the king and queen tells the story of the theme itself, of what the band in question would be presenting. And so how many bands presented at King and Queen over the weekend, Paul?
There were 4 senior bands and 3 junior bands that competed, so a total of 7, if I'm not mistaken. So Soca Mocha won Carnival King first place. That was the costume with the Belize map and the Belize flag, and then you also saw the Maya temples represented. You saw the Garifuna culture represented. You saw the mahogany tree. I'm just going back to this one right here. Yeah. So to me, the details on this is immaculate. This was,
you could see
by
like the
far,
shake.
Yeah, right. This was by far one of my favorites, the Black Orchid. So all the national symbols are represented here, as well as some cultural aspects. The toucan. Do you remember that sub umbra florio that you had challenge saying
We both did.
And so for me, this definitely, if I was a judge, and I'm not, I'm a very uninformed and uneducated where Carnival is concerned.
I think the funniest thing about this costume,
but I would pick this one,
is the person wearing the six-pack.
yeah. That, you get that from Mikado, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my
right?
God, I love it.
So that was selected as the Carnival King costume, right? Soca Mocha. And then you had the Carnival Queen costume. I'm looking for it here, but the Carnival Queen costume,
look at
that is that pink one in the back, and that Carnival Queen costume came from Mother Nature, right? It was a tight race between Mother Nature and Soca Mocha,
which is right at the back.
So yes, so Soca Mocha is the black and gold one. And this one right here that's coming into the screen, this is Mother Nature, and they won first place for the costume. What I liked is this display in the back. It's a huge rose, right? And it basically pops out when it's turned around. And this Soca Mocha, I have to give them big props because one, this is not an easy costume to navigate. But 2, the colors and the vibrancy, it really speaks to masquerading. It really
that will look so beautiful on
Carnival,
the road.
Right, that will look amazing. And you imagine when the sun hits that during the day and all the glistening and stuff like that. But yes, congratulations to Mother Nature for winning. And These are some of the other costumes in the senior category that we're looking at there. So for the Carnival Queen, Sokomoka came in second, and Trenchtown Masqueraders came in third. And for the King, Mother Nature Creation came in second, and Trenchtown came in third. And then in the junior category, we saw where Sunshine Masqueraders took it home for Junior King and Junior Queen. And
look at the dream catchers at the bottom.
yeah, this
Beautiful.
is that's a really beautiful. So Sunshine Masqueraders came in first place for the Carnival Queen and King Juniors, right? And so yeah, it was a really nice event on Saturday night. I really like the turnout as well. Carnival continues to, and these events continue to have their support from the public. I don't see a lot of controversy online, which I like, you know.
Good.
Let's keep it respectable, let's keep it fun, let's keep it vibrant, and go into the celebrations with that sort of mood.
You know, competitions like this, and I think I've been saying it since, you know, last year. I've really come to appreciate the carnival after providing my own coverage of it with you guys last year. But particularly for the King and Queen competition, you really get to appreciate the engineering involved in these costumes
100%.
and the team that it probably takes to put them together. These are massive structures that are supposed to be movable. You're supposed to be able to dance with it, and of course it's not supposed to wear you down. They're going to be walking quite a distance or dancing quite a distance in these costumes, but it has to also be able to withstand the entire march. So whether it's the wind, whether it's, you know, your friend to jump in and to shake you up, it cannot break. And I'm not sure what the judging criteria is, but I know as a spectator, you want to be able to see these costumes withstand the entire march. And then the competition, like the one that took place over the weekend, you want to be able to see these kings and queens in their own right move along with these structures and tell the story that it's supposed to tell while showcasing the beautiful designs. Kudos to the entire team involved.
Sounds like you were a judge in a past life.
I should be, you know, I'm putting it out there.
Talking about competition, Sabrina, final topic. KTV, the remix season 7 ends tonight on a high note. So, if you've been waiting, well, the wait is finally over. Well, at 8 p.m. tonight, the wait will be over. We'll finally get to hear who walks away with the KTV, the remix season 7 crown later on tonight. Will it be Sam? Will it be Maureen? Will it be Darlin?
Yeah.
We don't know,
I know,
but we will find out tonight. These 3 artists, and Darcy last week called them professionals in their own right. They have had quite a ride this season. We've all had quite a ride this season. It's been quite a show in many ways. That's how I'll describe it. For viewers, there's been no shortage of drama. For those watching in person, there's been no shortage of jaw-dropping moments. But also, just for fans, there's been no shortage of clear, exceptional talent on that floor inside the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. And tonight, I know for sure that our producers and our team here and our team for KTV, they've put together a really good, well-rounded show for us to send off this season with a bang.
Yeah, I have to say it's been an amazing season. I think a lot of people got some meme moments. They got some just pure quality entertainment every Tuesday. I have to hone in on what you mentioned. There was a lot of talent. We had the top 3 finalists on the couch with us last week. And one of the things that I acknowledged was how young they were. Well, we actually had 2 of the 3, but I acknowledge how young they were. I think they were some of the youngest from this season, and that really goes to show the level of commitment that people have when they recognize that they have a gift or a craft that they really want to hone in on. So congratulations to everyone. I think whoever walks away with that $10,000, I just want to remind the other 2 persons that you get to walk away with something too. One, you have an entire fan base that have been so committed to your journey that they have decided to vote for you, which I think really speaks to the level of star power that each one of them have. It's one thing to say, you know, I support you, and it's another to pay for it, to pay for you to stay in a competition. So I hope that they really continue to nourish their fan bases. And two, know that you will be walking away with something regardless.
Yeah.
So just a huge congratulations to each and every one of them, man. They are all talented in their own right. I love how they're all individually different too. And so each of them, they have something to offer, and I know that they will continue beyond this competition.
So that goes down at 8 p.m. tonight. You can catch it live on our KTV, the Remix Facebook page. You can also catch it on YouTube. You can also catch it on Greater Belize Media on cable television.
And don't forget to get your tickets before they are sold out. People have been purchasing tickets from last week, I saw. And so definitely get your tickets. They're only $5. You can get them here at our studios on Coney Drive. You can also get it at the 88 Shopping Center in Belize City. And if you really want to take that risk, you can try and get them at the Bliss as well. But I would not do that if I were you.
One of the things I always look forward to for this night is when the judges, or at least the permanent judges, they go on stage and perform, because people always say, they can't even sing.
Yeah.
People sing. People are real. Well, these nights we usually get to hear them give us a taste of their talent, and to show exactly why there are really judges there. And sometimes the critics can be harsh, but I know for a fact that these are talented individuals, these judges and leaders in their own right in the industry. So I'm looking forward to that.
And seasoned musicians as well.
Indeed.
All right. Well, we do got to move things along, Paul. That does it for 5 things we think you guys should know this morning. Thank you for your contribution in the comment section as well. We always look forward to that. But moving things along, we have a weather update for you guys, courtesy the folks from the National Meteorological Service. All right, jumping straight into it. Today calls for sunny with a few cloudy spells with isolated showers and thunderstorms. It will be cloudy at times with a few showers and isolated thunderstorms over the south and some coastal areas tonight as well. Our temperatures, coastal areas will be experiencing highs of 87 degrees Fahrenheit and lows of 82. Inland, however, will be warmer with highs of up to 92 degrees Fahrenheit, but dropping to a low of 74. I hope you guys enjoy that. But in the hills, highs will be 80 degrees Fahrenheit and quite a chilly 68 as well. So look out for that and enjoy the chill for me. Our extended forecast, inland temperatures on Wednesday will rise as high as 87 degrees Fahrenheit. However, along coastal areas will be 87 degrees and inland areas will be 92 degrees Fahrenheit. So quite warmer for inland areas. Thursday calls for similar temperatures. Coastal areas will be 87 degrees Fahrenheit and inland will be up to 93 degrees Fahrenheit. And then when it comes to Friday and Saturday, I know most of you guys are planning for your weekend as well. Coastal areas will be as high as 85 degrees Fahrenheit and inland 91 degrees. And then on Saturday, similar temperatures again, coastal areas 85 degrees Fahrenheit and inland 92 degrees. Our astronomical condition, the sun rose this morning at 5:37 a.m. and is set to set at 6:10 p.m. The moon will set at 8:23 p.m. and rise at 8:23 a.m. Now for our marine conditions. The sea state is light to choppy with winds blowing from the east at 10 to 20 knots. Today's high tide, a low tide starting at 5:56 a.m. took place, and then a high tide will be at 11:49 p.m. However, another low tide will take place at 6:12 p.m. and then tomorrow a high tide at 11:56 p.m. And that does it for our Eye on the Weather. Paul, back to you.
Excellent. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have a conversation with the Diabetes Association as they honor 25 years. The Diabetes Association. I'll leave it there for now. We'll be right back.
Prepárate, Belice. El regreso más esperado está aquí.
El ritmo que traigo es azúcar, azúcar para ti.
Cumbia Kings.
Como mami, mami, yo te vengo a decir las cosas tan lindas que tú quieres.
Cumbia Kings en vivo este sábado 30 de agosto en el majestuoso People Stadium Orange Bowl. La cumbia que marcó tu vida vuelve para encender la fiesta más grande del año. Cumbia Kings. General 75, VIP 150, Platinum $200. Una noche única, un concierto histórico. Boletos ya disponibles en Cuellos Distillery, Rustic Roof, Divari, Orange Bowl Town, Marías Bake Shop y Coffee House, Amor Turquesa Boutique, Shell One Stop. Y la aplicación QuiPass, disponible en Android y iPhone.
This is where blue innovation meets green ambition and orange creativity thrives. Join us for the Belize Investment Summit 2025, September 3rd to 5th at the Sunset Caribe in San Pedro. This is the future of regional integration, and it starts here. Whether you're returning home, expanding regionally, or entering new markets, Belize welcomes you. Why Belize? Why now? Belize Investment Summit 2025. Bridging markets, building resilience. September 3rd to 5th, Sunset Caribe, San Pedro. Visit investmentsummit.bz to register and be part of shaping the investment frontier.
Easy. Accessible. Safe. Yours. Digi Wallet. Easy, accessible, safe, yours.
Alright, when the one fun day on, the window open and the light may turn off. You look like you listen to me, Jamie.
Not only that, I even get a new coffee mug where keep my coffee hot all day.
I'm impressed. You don't look like you're so hard, eh?
Better than that, BL can change my meter to one of their new smart meter, they call it the AMI.
Oh, I hear about it on TV for BL. How do you know?
Yes, man, it don't reach the money better to change it right now. Let's go check it out.
Hey guys, I'm almost done here.
So that when you are reach my area,
we're upgrading meters across Belize, house by house, business by business. Always look out for BL logo, uniforms, and IDs. BL will make you know when we're in the area. The EMI meter rollout is a part of BL strategy to modernize our energy services.
You don't need to come in at my house, right?
Come in at your house, boss, only if you got something good for you.
BEL, bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. This is our first conversation, and as we mentioned, it's all about empowering communities through diabetes education. This morning, we are joined by representatives of the Belize Diabetes Association. We have here with us Sharon Fraser, no stranger to you guys, but this morning she's representing the association as a legal advisor, also a person living with diabetes. And also joining us is Aisha Garbut. She has type 1 diabetes, but she's also a part of the association. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
And welcome.
Good morning, Belize.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, I know that the month of November is usually the month that we would hear more awareness on diabetes, but I think You mentioned something very important, Ms. Fraser, before our conversation on air. You mentioned that we should be having this conversation regardless of November coming up. We should be spreading awareness regardless, because there are many persons living with diabetes and have absolutely no idea. Let's talk about that. The importance of awareness and the work that the association does here in Belize to provide support to persons living with diabetes.
Okay, so of course we are a non-profit organization providing the support and guidance to persons living with diabetes. As it relates to what you mentioned before, sensitization is in fact important. And that is what we try to do, and also provide that support. It is a daunting task, a daunting experience on people when they're first diagnosed, because especially how some people are diagnosed. And you're right, there are many people living out there who walking around with the condition don't even realize they have the condition until something goes wrong, right? And the truth is, if you have a family history, if you're living a sedentary lifestyle, it's important as a part of your annual check to see if it is you have the condition or you're pre-diabetic, because there are tests that can determine whether you're pre-diabetic. And once you know that, then you know how to move forward.
Yeah.
A lot of times, knowing is everything. So part of what and why we're here, even though it's not November, is because we want to start or do more sensitization.
What do you think prohibits people from actually going and making sure that they are aware if they do or don't have diabetes?
Fair. I have a friend who is telling me that she's not feeling so well, so I said, well, go to the doctor. Well, I don't want to go because I'm afraid to find out what might very well be the problem. And I'm saying no. The funny thing is, and I keep on saying to people, I remember when, for example, and this is a whole nother conversation, when I tried getting insurance, medical insurance, they said to me I wasn't qualified because I was just diagnosed with diabetes. And I'm saying, this is totally ridiculous, the discrimination, because once you're a person who go that extra effort to find out what if anything is wrong with you, who takes better care of themselves than people who would go out of their way?
Yeah.
But they are in fact insuring people who are pre-diabetic, who are living with diabetes, because with some policies, you don't necessarily have to take a test. While I know, so I am ensuring that I take care of myself. I would have developed diabetes. I had gestational diabetes, so which brings me to the fact that there are traditionally three main types. I will tell you that over the years I've found that there are so many other types, and I've learned about initially it was a type 1, type 2, and gestational diabetes, which is now known as a type 3.
Okay.
There is a type 4 and a type 5.
What's a type 4 and 5?
So that, in fact, there is one that is associated with persons who are anemic, who are malnourished.
Oh.
That's a new one that has come on board.
And that's an excellent point, because people normally associate diabetics with being overweight.
No, unfortunately, that is a misnomer, that in fact it's only persons who are big that have diabetes.
Or because you're big,
or
you
because
will get diabetes.
Right.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, you have a number of persons who have diabetes and they lose weight. Crazily lose weight. I'm not one of those persons. I wish maybe a little touch of that I had, but no. While it is, so everybody experience the symptoms of diabetes differently.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not a one brush paint. Everybody have their own experiences. And like
then you
I
said
said,
type 5.
and then there is another type, and it has to do with something genetic.
Okay.
Right? The funny thing is, particularly, so type 1 is in fact the type that Isha has, right? So she would have born with the condition, with her pancreas not working properly, but you get your diagnosed with type 1 anyway from birth to all the way up to 20, 25 thereabouts. And then there are those with type 2 who are lifestyle.
What do you call it?
Lifestyle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's sedentary, they don't do anything, they just sit, and they probably have a history of diabetes. For me, and I talk about myself because I can say that I came from a family where my father's mother had diabetes. My mother died from diabetes complication. Her mother had diabetes. Her mother had diabetes. So I was destined.
Yeah.
But I have to say to you that after I developed gestational, which is the third one, I had that when I was pregnant with my son, and when at birth it went away. My sugar went back normal. But if I knew the information I know now, I probably could have delayed the onset of diabetes. I just went about living my life, eating what I wanted, whatever. And I will never sit here and tell you that there are bad foods and you can't eat this and you can't eat that. Everything is about portion size. Everything is about knowing what triggers your sugar. Like, I have a friend who tells me that, boy, I like watermelon and I like watermelon juice, and by the cups she drinks watermelon juice. And I'm saying to her, don't you know that watermelon is a high content sugar fruit? You might think, oh, pineapple, you might think banana,
or fruit in general.
or that fruit, it's okay. But if you're diabetic, you need to limit your watermelon consumption, you need to limit your pineapple consumption, you need to limit, let me tell you, I punish when mango season.
Me too, I love it. And I'm not even diabetic, but I'm just health
because
conscious.
I tell people, man, you get Judge Wig come in, you know Judge Wig, they're not so very big, so you want to eat 2, 3. That's not good for me, right? So I have to look at it and say, okay, well, if I want mango, I want to eat that. Or if a big mango, I take a piece rather than eat the whole one, or I will just have to sacrifice something else. So if I'm eating this, you have a plan. It's about planning. I'm going to a birthday party, cake will be there. Then they give me the smallest slice, I still eat my cake. Right?
So let's bring Aisha into the conversation. Tell us a bit about your experience with diabetes.
Well, for me, I'm older now, right? But starting out with diabetes, I was younger. I got it when I was 9. I won't say my age now, but I got it when I was 9, and I didn't really know about it. I think when I got about 12, then I learned, I started realizing what diabetes was. For me, the first thing, I found diabetes challenging. Very challenging, right? As a young child, I could have ate what I wanted. I could have, played, be with who I wanted to be with. But when I got diabetes, I decided that maybe they will look at me different. I didn't really take my insulin. Around my friends, I would go into the bathroom. I would forget it sometimes. I would intentionally not take it to school because that makes me different.
Well, so you had to navigate it as a school child.
Yes.
Taking insulin.
Yes, taking insulin, trying not to, if I had a low sugar, because I didn't really know much about it, trying not to make, not to feel bad, but I couldn't stop that, right? So if I felt bad, I would have just gotten emotional and cry.
And as children, you want to fit in. You don't want to be different. What causes a person to have to take insulin? Because not everyone with diabetes takes insulin.
Well, for me, it was because my pancreas wasn't producing insulin at all, right? Nothing at all. I believe maybe I might have I was born with it, but it was dormant then.
Okay.
And maybe the things I started to eating because my mom wasn't at home. She was busy. And so we go out and we get food.
Yeah.
And I guess that just triggered it.
Well, it shows that as a child, you're still a child.
Right.
Diabetes or not, you're still a child. You still have desires and certain things that you want to do. So you developed it at an early age, and then life moved on. Talk about your experience as life progressed.
Well, I must say, I am happy where I am at now, because being self-conscious wasn't one thing when I was a child. I eat what I wanted. I didn't want to feel bad. But growing up, getting older, realizing that, if I choose to eat like this all the time, then I might have no hands and no foot. They might be chopping off something, and I normally tell my parents, Mommy, if I have no foot, I don't want to be here. Because I have to depend on people, and I don't like to do that.
So that was a reality you were thinking about?
I don't want to do that.
How did you come across that information or that thought that it could get extreme for you?
Because my friends, every year, I grew up in the diabetes camp that we have annually. That's life for me.
You went to diabetes camp?
Every year.
I've never heard of a diabetes camp. Imagine
the 2012 was my first year going to the camp when Mr. Castillo was president then. And I was afraid, but I was excited. These are people like me. Let's see what it's about. And so with the years coming up, I've learned from them. Certain things happen, and what made me realize I have to do better. I need to be better. It's not a choice. It needs to be a lifestyle for me. I'm still struggling, but I'm way better, right? Was every year a diabetic dies. Every single year, especially lately. One of my older friends would die, and I can count all the closest people I was with or I got to meet at the camp growing up. They have passed away. And I'm like, what if that's me next? What if I'm next year? What if I'm the following year? Every year someone dies, and we get into a little huddle, the rest of us. What if it's me next year? I don't want it to be me next year, so I have to be better.
Yeah.
Right?
I think those types of things would really shock you into reality, to have you know that it's on you to ensure that you take care of yourself the best way that you possibly can. One of the things, Aisha, that you repeated multiple times was the types of, I guess, food that you would consume. And this is, I think, one of the primary inhibitors to either controlling your diabetes or going downhill with it. How important is food consumption? And I mean, how challenging is it as well? Because we live in a culture in the Caribbean where you want your plate buff, miss, you go, you pay for your food, you get $7 in a big plate that's celebrated. And there's more carbohydrates than protein, more carbs than fiber. But is this actually going against what we need to ensure that we control diabetes?
It definitely is. I will tell you that what came clear to me is because it's at 7 months I developed gestational diabetes, and I was put on this regimen of what I could have eaten and not eaten. And why was that important? Because it meant, as a diabetic, if I didn't control my sugar, I would have had this big baby, and his organs would not have been properly developed. So that while pregnant, I was put on a strict diet. I could only have 1 slice of bread. So it's a misnomer when people talk about I have to eat for 2. I was taking off sugar. It was, if I had coffee, it was black. I couldn't drink juices. So for me, it was a sacrifice, but it was a sacrifice for the baby that I was carrying at the time. It is a sacrifice. It's challenging. I will tell you that life is not easy for me. Right. It's up and down. And then for me, who was working in an environment of stress, stress also affects that as well. So, okay, I couldn't get rid of the stress, but at least I had to look at trying to control my food consumption and what I do. This morning, for example, I started my day by going to the gym 5 o'clock this morning. So that I am, and as you get older, it becomes harder.
Yeah.
That is when the complication sets in, start to kick in, and like, Isha, I no want have to depend upon nobody to help me, right? With my foot cut off, or my diabetes affect every single part of your body from your head to your toe. I remember going to a training session where it is that the doctor was talking about the air and how diabetes affect your hearing. And you might say, hearing, diabetes? Diabetes affect every single part of your body.
They call it the silent killer, though.
Yes, it is.
Why do they call it that?
Because there are many people walking around with elevated sugars and have no clue. And constant elevation of your sugar damage your organs. So that before you know, your kidney is not working.
That's why it's the silent
Your
killer.
liver is not working. It silently eats you out from inside.
So what are the signs then? Because
there's
people are walking around and don't know.
There are some telltale signs that some people ignore.
Okay.
Right? Like, for example, the minute you start, and every minute you have to go to the bathroom, constant urination. You're thirsty all the time. You are sluggish. You are
you're hungry.
You're
always
always
tired.
tired, always hungry.
Okay, no.
But that does not mean that you have diabetes. I'm just telling you some of the telltale signs.
I know blurry vision is one
Blurry
of the
vision. A friend of mine was telling me that, in fact, she wasn't feeling good. She started to have blurry vision, and then she decided, you know what, something is wrong. When she went to the doctor, it's because when they test her sugar, all the machine said was high.
Wow.
Which means she was walking around with at least over about 600. Her sugar reading was. No, you talk about, I know you asked Isha about why people take insulin and some don't. The situation is that, and the more you learn, the better it's going to be. When somebody's sugar is so uncontrollable, even if they're type 2, insulin might be the best choice for them, because it could give them better control. Insulin, that the manufactured insulin, is the closest that comes to the insulin that your body produces.
There's a stigma with it, though, where a lot of people feel like if you ever have to take insulin, it's like, all right, with it at that door.
But the truth is, whether they take you off metformin and put you on insulin, you are not doing the things you need to do. The insulin won't work either.
Okay.
Because you're not doing what you need to do.
That's an excellent point.
The insulin won't work. So you ask me, why does the insulin work for some and don't work for others? Because some take the insulin and do what they need to do. Others take the insulin and feel like that's the miracle, and I'll be who I was. Nothing is going to change. Guess what? You're not helping the insulin to help you.
We associate diabetics with the situation where sores and cuts and bruises often take a while to heal.
Well, that is because...
What leads to that, or why is that the case?
Okay, so maybe it is, and I'm no doctor, but living with the condition and being exposed for as long as I have been, with diabetes, when you eat, what you eat converts into sugar. That is what makes you open your eyes, nod your head, raise your hand.
Energy.
The energy to make you breathe. So you need sugar.
Yeah.
However, it is the insulin that converts what you eat, the sugar, into the energy that makes your body work. If you have diabetes and it's uncontrollable, the sugar is not reaching to the cells. So the insulin will open the door to go into the cell, is not opening up the door. So you get a cut, you need the nutrients from the cell to produce, to heal your body. If it's not getting what is needed from the foods that you eat, right? So it takes a long while to heal. In some cases, people are not healing, and that is the beginning towards the end.
And that's why people would lose a limb.
And that's why, because then they develop circulation problem, because as I said to you from the beginning, diabetes affects every part of your body. So the vessels, the veins, the arteries get clogged up because they're not getting the nutrients, blood is not flowing, you develop circulation problem, and eventually the blood stops flowing, the cells die, they need to cut it. They need to cut it, right? So that it doesn't poison the rest of your body.
But I wanted to share something about that. You asked, what happens? And they said that these sores and different things are harder to heal. It gets more difficult for a type 2 diabetic than it would for an early type 1 diabetic, right?
Okay.
Our bodies, we're still young. I'm not saying that you won't get affected, but if the first time it happens, because when I used to get cut, my mom was so scared because she heard the moment you get a cut or a sore, they're going to, that's it for you, yes. Yeah. And I'm like, I wasn't worrying, and when I think I got a nail joke, and I told my mom and I told my dad, and he was like, oh, he made it. You need to go to the hospital. You know how this is. And I don't like when they behave that way with me, so I was like, I'm going to go. And I went, and the doctors made it a big issue. In no time it healed for me, right? But my mom likes to tell me, she said, Aisha, you're still young. You can still do a lot of things. But the older you get, if you don't take care of it now, the older you get, that's when everything will just box you in the face. Yeah. You weren't doing what you were supposed to do when you were younger. So I think, this is my opinion, when the older you get, the less your body can do. So the less your immune system becomes, and everything starts affecting you.
Life beyond diabetes, have you been able to live as normal physical life as possible as a young person or a type 1 diabetic, or have you had to restrict some of your physical engagements, if you would?
Not necessarily. I don't really do a lot of things that affects a diabetic. I don't drink, I don't smoke, like I'm not a cake person, so if I go anywhere and I get a cake, I'll either bring it home and give it away. The only cake I like is cheesecake. Right? But a lot of things that I shouldn't do, I don't do. Not because of a diabetic, but because of me, like right? So
and physicality, like stuff like perhaps a lot of movement, sports, I don't know. You're not really into sports?
I do sports, and I play on tail. Once, I like volleyball. Okay. So once I'm playing volleyball, I'm going to play on tail. But when I do sports, or when I used to exercise like that, I don't take insulin. More exercise, less insulin for me. And once I don't want to take insulin, or because sometimes it's frustrating, right? Honestly, it's challenging. Sometimes this hurt, this hurt, this hurt, this hurt, and I hate put it in my stomach because it burns.
Yeah, and it's an actual injection.
Yes, right? It burns so badly there. That's I don't like it there.
Wow, I have to say, Aisha, how incredibly inspiring that is to know that as a child you had to take these injections, insulin.
Yes. I took it myself because I think one time I asked my mom to do it for me at a place that wasn't sore, and she decided to have done it at the back, right? And I was like on my butt, and I was like, "Ow, mommy, ow!" Yeah. And it left that. I think she wasn't doing it properly, and from there I was like, "Mommy,
you are yourself.
I'm going to learn to do it. I can't take this."
If you would see how I freak out when I just get the lip prick from the testing machine.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
but that's fine. What I'm saying, these days with technology and with a whole heap of
You
things,
don't have to prick
you
all the
don't, like with the
There's one that you
continuing
can-
monitoring,
Yeah.
you don't have to prick. Once that's in, that gives you continuous reading. Actually, I wish I could find a benefactor who
Here.
could in fact assist the association to bring in that, particularly for the type 1. What is happening with them is that unfortunately, while the association do support, so we ensure that in fact once we get our supply of insulin, that the type 1 gets their insulin, right?
We're
Most of them,
priority.
they are
We're
priority
priority.
for us. So we ensure they get their syringes, we ensure they get their insulin, we ensure they get whatever they need to maintain their health and their well-being. So that is a priority for us. She talks about the camp. For years we've been having camp to bring type 1s together so that they realize that they're not alone.
Yeah.
They have formed a support group, so they meet, and you talk about physical activity, they're not prevented from. When I remember the first camp we had, there was a young man there, and he said when they told the school that he had diabetes,
they lock away.
They lock away, you know, fi go do PE, you know, fi go do.
Because there's this fear of being hurt that
and that is far from it.
Yeah.
Activity is what a
muscle
diabetic
building is
need.
important. Yeah.
You understand? You need to. It is about changing your lifestyle and being involved. When we started the diabetes ride, I rode. Yes, I'm enough for riding a bicycle, but for ride
the distance
there. And I got up every morning religiously,
Exercise.
and I rode to Bolton Bridge, 6 miles every morning before that ride to get myself in a condition to ride. My goal was to ride from Corozal to Orange Walk.
Wow.
Right? And at that point, it was for me saying I'm riding for my mom and myself at that point. But the point is, being a diabetic don't mean your life stops.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop. It means you have to make conscious decisions, lifestyle decisions, so that you live a healthier life.
Finally, I just wanted to talk about how expensive it is to live with diabetes as well, because you spoke about the support that the association provides, but all of these things cost. To get strips, it costs. To have your machine that keeps on working, it costs. To eat healthier, some might say that costs as well.
It costs.
Have a gym membership,
It costs.
it costs. Talk about that, the expense and the investment that's involved in taking care of yourself
Let
to
me tell
control
you.
your
Let me
diabetes.
tell you this. You buy Victoria's Secret or Bath and Body products. So you spend money to make sure your skin feel good and you smell good, right? It's about investing in yourself, your inner self. So yes, it costs, but it costs more when your limbs are cut off.
100%.
Right? So it is important, and I'm saying we have enough things in Belize that you can in fact buy that don't cost you. Get up and go to Finnegan Market, man. Pick out the products that you want, the produce you want. You make choices. So rather than eat white, you learn to eat brown rice. Rather than use white sugar, you use brown sugar. And brown sugar cheaper than white sugar. Right? So they're just things you need to do. But I admit to you that in terms of medication, it is expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Diabetes Association don't cover medication save and except insulin.
Like, so you wanted to add something to that, Aisha?
Oh yes. Earlier, Miss Fraser was speaking about how when we went to the camp and something about the schools. Lately, well, for years, not lately, but the Diabetes Association has been going to schools to educate teachers, to educate students, to educate the principals about what diabetes is, to allow kids to know, not because Johnny has diabetes means
You
you
treat
go
her
beside
different.
Johnny, you'll catch diabetes. It is not contagious.
Or you can't
right?
play with you, or you can't
right,
play
because,
with
oh, Johnny is going
Yeah.
to, no. So the association has been doing a lot to aware and educate the public about diabetes. They go to different workplaces. They go to BEL, they go to Biltmore, they go to WASA, they go to the airport. They go all over the place to do testing. Sometimes they are all the way in Dangriga, right? Because they want to put it out there. They want the public to be aware. Diabetes is here. They're not just something everybody speaks about. It is here, and it is going to
And for some people, yes, you could have prevented it, but for some people, they were born with it.
Right.
So let's not look at persons living with diabetes as, oh, you caused that by yourself. You can't say no to the sweet things. I think a lot of people don't realize the internal fight that you have with yourself, which is much, that urge is much more stronger than saying, I feel fairly sweet treat. The fight that you feel trying to stay away from a mango during mango season, how is that in trying to control these cravings?
It's hard. It's hard. I won't come here and lie to you all. It's hard. My children always tell me that sometimes when I feel to drink some Coke, right? And everybody watch me with side eye.
Try Coke Zero,
right?
Miss Fraser, I never regret
So, no, the point I'm saying, in relation to that, if I want Coke, I want Coke. I don't want Coke Zero. It is different. I'm just saying, if I want to drink that, I won't drink a whole bottle.
Yeah.
I want to take the glass and fill it up with ice. Sometimes it's just the taste. You understand? So for me, I don't tell people that they're bad foods. What I say to people is that the amount you consume is what is important. And unfortunately, here in Belize, when Sunday come, we want rice and beans,
Sunday
salad
dinner.
and chicken.
That's
No, we don't have rice.
all on itself.
We don't have rice. And we have potato salad with it too. No vegetable salad.
Double carb.
Right?
Right.
I have my rice and beans with salad and chicken, you know. But it is about managing. Right? There are number. So that for those persons who are newly diagnosed, who want some information, want some help, they can always come to the Diabetes Association. While we don't have no in-house nutritionists, we have nutritionists who work with us, we have doctors who work with us, that we can make referrals. So the office is located corner Central American Boulevard and Mahogany Street, and they can always go in. They can go in to get that kind of support. We are that support group. We meet every third Saturday of the month at 4 at IT Vet, where it is we bring in the experts. So you know how to pay for somebody, doctor, and get your advice for free, right?
Can you reverse diabetes?
The latest, when I learned about diabetes, they said to us, no, once you're diabetic,
Just
you're
management,
diabetic,
yeah.
just manage. I went to a conference in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, and there were some, imagine a room full of doctors, lone doctors. I felt very, very stupid in this room. Not that I am, but full with doctors and endocrinologists. And there was one presentation where it is that they've been doing a study to say that in fact you can reverse it.
Okay.
Yes.
But the but is that you must be strict about what it is you do.
Your diet.
And your diet. It plays an important role. So your lifestyle has to change completely. Completely.
And you can't reverse it, then go back
So
to always.
Always.
This is going to go
Because then you will come right back to where you were before. So that in the past I would tell people no, but recent studies have shown that you can. But like I said, it has to do with our body makeup, and the doctors, they have all the scientific terms, but I was amazed to learn that. And like I said, I went to Abidjan last year, so these are recent studies and they're doing it among the African population.
It has happened here before in Belize. One of our diabetics, or youth diabetics, he reversed his diabetes. He's a type 1.
How did he do that?
this is
It
how,
might
because
be.
he came to the camp and he was telling us, his name is Marcel. He reversed it. He said when he found out he was a diabetic, his mom placed him on a strict diet, like she said, a very strict diet. Veg, I think she took him off meat, rice, and it was veg, specific meats they took him off.
Specific.
It was like chicken. He could have ate certain things, and he said, and he was living the life like, I'm not a diabetic anymore. He said, I think it happened for about 2 years, and he said he got stressed and he forgot that he had diabetes, and he just went back into the old lifestyle. And he said after about a year or a year and a half, it came back. And his mom was like, I told you, you had to stick to it. But you can reverse diabetes. You just need to be disciplined.
I think one of the critical points we didn't touch on, and because we mentioned it, accessibility and availability where insulin is concerned.
And
how accessible is it
is
for diabetics in Belize?
So when it comes to diabetics in Belize, I'm a type 1. It's pretty much accessible for me. I can get my insulin almost at any drugstore. It's just a little pricey. $45, $50
so that speaks to accessibility, even the cost.
For one little bottle, because the insulin is not so big.
It's a small bottle.
But
and how many servings of that you get from it?
It lasts you for the month. It all depends on how much
you're
insulin
taking.
you take.
So people take different amounts?
Yes. I have a friend, she is taking like 70 units in the morning. That's a lot.
Yeah. You have to break that down for us. So accessibility. So it's available, but it's costly.
It's costly. The one that I was on, I'm not on that right now, is Lantos, and you're talking about $78, $80 per pen. No, the technology has
and the
changed.
pens are smaller than the vials.
The needles, so like how you have problems with needle, there are some fine needle. It's like a fly bite, right? So once you get over your fear of needles, it works. And even in Isha's case, that they have to draw up, so the syringes come with measurements on them, right? And so depending on what the doctor prescribes, will determine how much units of insulin you take. 70 is a lot. Like I am taking a short, and then there are long acting and short acting insulin. There are insulins that you can take for once a week. There are some where you take one a day. There's short acting where you have to take before every meal.
What do you take?
So I am on I'm on a long acting, which is Lantus. I take that at night. But I must tell you, my doctor has recently put me on Ozempic. And while people are using Ozempic for weight loss, it is for persons with diabetes. That is the original. It was made for. No, the Ozempic is once a week.
Okay.
Once a week you take it. But I will tell you the cost in Belize is
expensive.
What's it? What's the cost?
It's like $1,000, right?
More than $1,000.
Yeah.
For one pen. One pen. But of course the pen would last you, depending on how much unit you're taking, could last you a month. But can you imagine $1,000 each month?
Just for medication.
Just for medication, and that is just that. I'm not talking about the Lantos, which I said to you, it's about $78, $80, right? For a pen, right? So, so I'm taking two different types of insulin, right? And when it is, I find my sugar is wavering, I go to a short acting, which I take with meals. There's some small needles, trust me. What Isha is explaining, times have changed. And you put it in anywhere where there are muscles. That is where you put it. So your legs, your stomach, your arm, depending on where you are comfortable, right? I remember when my brother was placed on insulin, he's not like, oh God, like you're dead, right? And I said, no. He stayed for me for a while. So I used to get every time he used to take his insulin, dry insulin, take a piece of alcohol swab to make sure the area, because remember you're talking about a diabetic. So the last thing you want is for some infection in a particular area or contamination. And there are people who are in the habit of using needles multiple times. That's a no.
Yeah, so there are budgetary considerations you have to make on a monthly basis.
I wanted to share one thing with you. You see, it's pretty expensive outside, right? But the association, again, the Belize Diabetes Association,
I love that you
makes
keep
the expenses pretty less for
type
us
1
as type 1 diabetics. Imagine.
So join the association.
Join the association. If you have to pay $10 for one pack of needle that comes in with about 7 to 10 needles, and sometimes we use about 50 packs for the month. That's $50 just for the needle, another $50 just for the strips, another $80 for the machine. Then you have to buy lantus, you have to buy swabs, you have to get insulin. You know how much money that would be?
Yeah, but
the association gives that to me. So I save that 50. I save so much money because of them. When I don't get insulin from the hospital, I can go to them. They have 70/30 that I use. They have Lantus also. They have a lot of different insulin that you can use when they get
so it's really not
it's easier for us.
It's really not a broke person condition if I
no, and that is why
but you have people living on the fringes of poverty that are living with this condition,
and that
you imagine how hard it is for them.
And that is why initially persons who were dying from out of the type 1 were persons who were living on that same fringe that you're talking about and couldn't even afford the syringes. I remember one type 1, it hurts my heart because he's dead now, and they don't get no insulin because he can't afford the syringe. And we decided we cannot let that happen. Unfortunate for us, government no give we no subvention, you know. No, yes, they're good partners, but we don't get subvention. You'd be amazed at the institutions out there who are getting subvention from government, not the Belize Diabetes Association. And we are in fact doing an extension of what Ministry of Health should be doing for persons who really can't afford it. We wish we could do more. I talked to you about the fact that I wish I could find a benefactor. Maybe one is listening that can help me.
Please.
That can help me get the continuous
patches,
monitors so Isha and them don't have to constantly be sticking their fingers checking, because that is important. Testing is important to let you know where you are. The continuing monitors does that. And it's only once every 1 or 10 to 12 days you'll have to deal with that stick, right? After that you can just you know where you are every single point in the day. For those persons whose sugars are uncontrolled, they're afraid to eat, so you go low. And low is just as bad as high.
I think low is worse, actually. For me, I hate a low sugar. I don't want low sugars. I hate it to the max.
Well, ladies, I wasn't sure what type of conversation I was coming into, but I am more than informed following this discussion. I just sat here and I just listened and learned.
I want to ask one question that came from a viewer. How about ginger and cucumbers? Ask them about ginger or fruits that they can have.
So cucumber is in fact a good alternate, a good food to have, because it's more water, it's not filling. Sugar, it's filling for some people, for those who like, because me, I don't like cucumber. Although I'll have cucumber juice, but I don't like cucumber. But it's a good fruit to have, right?
And one last thing I want to say. Everybody looking at us out there, diabetes does not define you, right? Diabetes does not control you. You control diabetes. What happens to you is because of you. What does not happen to you is also because of you. So your life is in your hands. What you do affects you. What you don't do also affects you.
Excellent way to wrap up the conversation. Aisha, I couldn't say it any better myself.
Right.
Final point, how to reach out to you guys.
Well, as I said, the Diabetes Association office is on corner Central American Boulevard and
Mercy Lane.
and Mahogany Street, right at the corner where that big sign is, that building right there.
Yes.
You can walk in there. We open from 9 to 5, right? There will be somebody there.
Any numbers?
They do have a number, it's 670.
Do you guys have a page on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, so we can reach
So they
out to you
can
guys
reach
there.
out
We have an
there as
Instagram
well.
page, we have a TikTok page. More than
know all
likely,
of the social
you'll
media.
just
She
see
can.
some of the young people when it comes to those pages.
Yeah.
But we're trying to get it
So,
up and
so
running more.
at the end of the day, it is important though. I also want to add, just on a final note, we also are affiliated with the International Diabetes Federation. I have sat on that board as the vice president. So Belize have gone far ways as far as the recognition of our country and our contribution to the diabetes world, because that is what IDF represents. So, and we continue to do that. I'm still on the board in a different capacity rather than vice president. So that is where we are, and I try to bring the new information and technology to Belize. The International Diabetes meet every 2 years. There is a world conference, and we get to go there where we are exposed to. And that is why it's so unfortunate for us, because we're exposed to all these new technology, these new boutique type drugs, and we come back to Belize and we can't access them.
Yeah. Well,
Anyways.
ladies, a pleasure having you guys here this morning. We
you.
learned a lot. I know we had viewers engaging as well, so we appreciate your input. We wish you guys all the best, and we invite you back to talk about this, of course, anytime.
For sure. Thank you.
All right, we take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we will be unlocking global education for Belizeans with the Chevening scholarships.
Of the Mexican Caribbean. A whole spectrum of colors and hues, multi-dimensional cuisine, holographic beaches. The true new era is within you.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
My name is Leomar Langzert, and I'm a teacher, and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer, with these online that Belize Bank offered, is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
Coming up, the best of Barbados and more at Carifesta 15. International interns enjoy breakthrough opportunities. History with a side of salsa. Yes, we're in San Juan. Community programs in Dominica receive a major boost. The home base with all you can ask for.
It's all next on this station.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned. This is our second conversation for this morning, and it's all about unlocking global education for Belize with Chevening scholarships. And we have joining us on set High Commissioner Alistair White, British High Commissioner to Belize. We also have Ms. Janine Cayetano, 2017 Chevening alumni. And joining us also is Ms. Laurie Cunningham, a 2025-2026 Chevening scholar. And she's off to study mental health in children and young people, psychological approaches at the University of Edinburgh. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure having you all. So let's start perhaps with you, High Commissioner, to tell us a bit about the Chevening Scholarship, what it is, and the purpose behind this scholarship.
Yeah. Thank you, and thanks for having us today. The Chevening Scholarship is the UK's flagship scholarship scheme to allow students from around the world to study master's degrees at British universities, and we're very proud of the British university system. You know, some really genuinely the best universities in the world, and the Chevening Scholarship is a fully funded, so all the tuition fees, your travel, your accommodation, plus a stipend to allow you to live and enjoy life in British cities like London, Edinburgh. We have supported the studies of over 60,000 scholars now in the last 42 years, 125 of whom have been from Belize. And the scholarship scheme it's different from some. It's not just about academic excellence. It's not just a scholarship. What we're looking for is future leaders and people who will come back to Belize. And we ask you to guarantee you stay here for at least 2 years after you come back from the UK and contribute to Belize. And we're really looking for people who will be future leaders in their fields or in the whole country. And we're very proud we've got over 21 current or past heads of state have been Chevening scholars. So it really is a scheme just to bring the future leaders UK education, give them a leg up, that next step, and then allow you to come back to your country to contribute.
Now, Ms. Janine, for you received the scholarship in 2017. Mm-hmm. Can you explain to us why there is this perceived level of prestige where the scholarship is concerned?
First, the education level in the UK is quite different from what I've experienced back at home, in the terms that while I did my bachelor's in social work and I went through the process and I studied, I had to apply myself much more than I did here.
Also,
for the first time when I went there, I read. And you have to read to understand. You can't just skim through the pages, right? Especially when you get a essay that says clinically evaluate X, Y, and Z, right? You have to ensure that you are able to break down maybe an assessment or a session with your clients and properly go through the therapeutic process, right? And that's not something that I experience here at home. The scholarship takes a long time It's a long process. It takes a lot of patience. It's very comprehensive. And whenever you start the process, it's easy for you to give up, right? Because when the scholarship opens in August, you won't hear that you got the scholarship until maybe you get to the interview stage until February, March.
Next year.
In the following year.
Yeah.
And so because it takes a while, it allows for the selection process to be very mindful in how or who they choose to get the scholarship.
I think it weeds out people that might not be as serious.
It weeds out the people who are not serious, and you feel proud when you get something like that, because then you're not only competing, I don't want to say compete, but let's use that word.
Yeah.
It's fair.
You're not only competing with Belizeans, you're competing with, you have 60,000 scholars.
Yeah.
You're competing with hundreds of thousands of people who are applying. And so for me, that's what makes it prestigious. You get to learn your own strength and your weakness, and you could say, you know what, I got this, I did this, I earned this.
And certainly one person who earned it was Lori. She's this year's recipient. Talk to us about your interest in this scholarship in the first place and why you decided to pursue it.
Well, I knew I wanted to pursue a master's degree, and of course I was looking at it financially. How would I be able to acquire that? And I came across a program firstly at the University of Edinburgh, and I said, man, that's a program that I would be interested in doing. And then I remember talking to a couple friends, family members, and they said, hey, have you ever looked at coming to the UK or going to the UK to study? There's this scholarship opportunity that would send Belizeans out there so often or every year. You should look into it. And so I started. And I recalled when preparing, it took me about 2 years. I didn't apply right away. I recalled listening into the different webinars, just to prepare myself. What is it that they're looking out for? And of course, the opportunity that they do give, the networking ability, being able to network with different people, not only locally but globally as well. And of course, being able to cover that 100% tuition fees, that stipend, and giving you an opportunity to diverse yourself or immerse yourself into the different culture at UK. So that was one of my main reasons in wanting to apply.
Talk about the application process itself. Ms. Cayetano mentioned that it's known to be more of a lengthier process. What was your experience applying and going through the different phases of the application itself?
So everyone can access the application form from the website www.chevening.org, and it actually has instructions there on what to basically do, right? When I applied last year, it was 4 questions talking about your leadership ability, your networking ability, the reasons you'd want to study at the UK, and basically explain if you would be given this opportunity, how would you come back and impact Belize, right? How would you utilize that degree to make a difference in your country? And so I've done my essay. At that time, it was 500 words each. People might say that 500 words, that's easy. This year it's only 300, but trust me, those words counts. It counts because you need to be able, to portray yourself within that 300 words. So I applied. I would encourage people to start and apply now. Start to work on that application early. October 7th might seem far away, but it's pretty much near. After submission, I think I had gotten a response in February that I was nominated for interview, and I did my interview in March, earlier this year in March, and I got my response that I received the scholarship in June.
Wow.
So what's your plan? You approach studies, then you come back to Belize.
Yes.
How are you looking at how things will evolve over the next few years?
Well, I am looking at, firstly, I love the program that I'm going to do, right? I'm really passionate about it. And I'm hoping that I would be able to use this time to get advice from the professors there in being able to work on a training catalog that I would be able to come back and implement here in Belize. I really want to start to train caregivers, foster parents, and parenting sessions for them to understand what mental health is. I've been a social worker at the Department of Human Services for 8 years, where I led child protection investigation, and I've recognized certain gaps that we've had. People would often say to me, like, Lori, I can't do your job, and I would smile, right? They would say that it's hard, but I often thought about, or reflected, my job might be hard, but what happened to the caregivers who needs to take care of these children with the traumatic background that don't have any experience? And so I am hoping that I would be able to come back to Belize and implement a policy to do nationwide parenting sessions, and collaborate with the Ministry of Education or the Education and Justice System along with the child protection system to be able to network and give back.
Yeah, I'm looking at the screen and
Some
I know
familiar
a lot
faces,
of those
yes.
faces.
I mean, I take back what I said about only one. No, this is a lot of people I recognize.
For you, Ms. Kaitan, how has this experience transformed you in your career?
For me, it has provided me with the necessary knowledge that I needed to be where I am today. There's this part where the Chevening Scholarship encourages scholars to become leaders within their community. And I believe that leaders is not only those who represent the country, but we could lead in different capacity. And so this have transformed my career in the sense that I'm able to give much more from a more competent and knowledgeable level. Wow. I have seen myself grown significantly, both personally and professionally, because the scholarship is not only about academic, it's about how you're able to develop well as a human being, as an individual. And I'm able to merge my own personal experience and my professional experience and create practice, right? I find that I am able to support our Belizean community, and I'm able to do that very confidently.
Wow. So Mr. White, how many scholars were awarded for this 2025-2026 cohort?
Yeah, so we have 6 from Belize, and that's out of 1,300 globally. So it's an incredibly competitive scheme. Yes. So I think we had over 150,000 applications around the world. So only 1,300 got through. So you said compete. You really are competing against some incredibly driven, ambitious, and talented people, and so that's why we have such incredibly driven, talented, ambitious people here who get through.
Is the call for applicants made annually?
Yes. So if you look at our socials, we'll be tweeting about 5 times a day about apply for your scholarships. We have lots of signs up. We do things like this. You very kindly accommodate us on your show just to promote it, because having a diverse set of applicants is really important for us. We want people from every part of the country. Every career. Educational background, social background. It's not about the exclusive just for the elite who are already comfortable with this system. It's actually a very accessible process. You have until October the 7th, and I was saying it's just 4 300-word miniature essays, so it's accessible in that sense. What we're looking for, it's not just your academic brilliance, it really is your personality. Show us why you're going to be brilliant, show us why this is going to change your career, and show us why we have the confidence that you're going to change things back in Belize afterwards. So it's bring your personality out.
So the scholarship process is open right now.
Yes.
The application is open
Until October.
Till October, yeah. And so what we want you to do is have applied to at least 3 universities and master's courses in the UK. We want you to have one unconditional offer, at least one unconditional offer by this point, and then fill in the form, hit send, and then, as these guys say, wait.
And you chose the University of Edinburgh. Is there a
Yes.
particular reason why you chose that university?
Due to the course.
Okay.
Due to the degree itself, well, the subject line.
Okay.
Yeah, I always admire you all and who received this scholarship. I, for one, think it's really prestigious. But apart from that, I see the impact that you all come back and you make. It's you all are recognized, right? And it's recognized. You're recognizable. Yeah, if that's one way to describe it. So I have to say congratulations to you as a past scholar and just starting out this journey. I could imagine outside of all just the excitement and the butterflies and the jitters. But I know you'll do well, so congratulations.
And how long is the program, or how long is the entire duration in the UK?
The program is specifically for 1 year.
Okay, 1 year. All right, we'll make it count. And congratulations again. All right, well, we do gotta wrap up this conversation. We have another break that we're gonna jump into, and when we come back, we have more Open Your Eyes.
Oh man, one more stroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data, so you can scroll till your fingers cramp.
Enjoy free social media data now included in our Flex Choice and Select postpaid plans.
Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Get ready for back to school with Benny's B-Bucks. We have limited edition Benny's exercise and composition books just in time for the new school year. Get 6 composition books for 5 B-Bucks and 12 exercise books for only 2 B-Bucks. Benny's and B-Bucks, getting you ready for back to school.
We are ready for back to school. Are you?
Back again, it's time for education.
bringing people together.
There are so many different factors which can impact on your digestive system because there's a very strong connection between your intestinal tract and your central nervous system or your brain. So your digestive system is sometimes referred to as your second brain, your second nervous system, because the connections are very strong between the two and one can impact it very heavily on the other one.
A message that I want persons to take away is that food is to be enjoyed, but because of the high risk of non-communicable diseases in our region, we're finding that food plays a factor in contributing to that. And if we can start by cutting down even the starchy foods, that makes a difference.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Oh yo, what's up bro? Just Western Union moms a little money using DigiWallet. Uncle in the States, paid me too, same app. Using DigiWallet. Bro, this is too easy, I can do this from anywhere. No lines, no hassle, just easy. Alright, gotta run bro, take it easy.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
My name is Leomar Langsert and I'm a teacher and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is to see if the features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer, with these online that Belize Bank offered, is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
Welcome back and thank you for sticking with us. We are wrapping up our conversation at this point. And Paul, I think it goes without saying that we have had quite an engaging morning this morning, starting off, of course, with representatives from the Belize Diabetes Association. Such an informative segment. There is so much that I've learned, some of the things I've been able to understand a bit better. And I think we left on a note where there are still more gaps that needs to be filled when it comes to persons living with diabetes and when it comes to supporting the association that has been in place, providing support to persons with diabetes. I can tell you personally, excuse me, I have family members that have diabetes, as close as my aunt, my grandmother. I remember my mother had gestational diabetes. Fortunately for her, that did not continue on into her later years. I know that I struggle with being insulin resistant, which is different from being pre-diabetic and diabetic. And so one of the early steps that I took, I want to say maybe last year when I started my weight loss journey that I took you guys on with me as well, was changing the way that I ate. And I really, really credit that in particular to a lot of the transformation that I saw, not only physically, but symptom-wise. Very similar to persons living with diabetes, I would have to monitor my sugar. I don't go as far as testing myself as frequently because I know that I have been extremely disciplined in the things that I've eaten and in the way that I've eaten. For a lot of people, though, that seems to be a challenge. Discipline and the types of food that they eat. But we know that it is important. Lifestyle changes are important. Exercise is important. And I've also been able to incorporate that into my personal lifestyle change as well. And I'm just hoping that you guys were able to get some type of inspiration from the conversation that we saw from both sides. Aisha having such an interesting story of being born with diabetes. She has type 1 diabetes. And then of course, Ms. Sharon Fraser having gestational diabetes that transitioned into the better part of her life and the life that she lives now, living with it. But thoughts on it, Paul?
Yeah, I just think that what really struck me was the end of the conversation.
The accessibility part?
The accessibility part, because we kept talking throughout the entire conversation, and we always got back or referred back to medication.
Yeah.
And the heavy reliance on insulin, that was always a point we got back to. So while you're doing your dieting and you're doing your exercise, there is a heavy dependence on insulin. And so from the start of the conversation, the question dawned on me, well, how accessible, I think, how accessible is medication? Because accessibility, where everything is concerned, that is vital for human life, is an important conversation to have.
Yeah.
We must have access, regardless of your social status, your economic background, your academic background. Accessibility is important in all spheres of life and all sector. And I think it's quite unfortunate to learn that the association does not receive a subvention from the government. So while they have partners and support here and there, I think that subvention from the government would ease a lot of the burden that this association takes on in the task and the mission that they have to ensure that there is access, if to nothing else, this important medication. And that's why I brought up people that are living on the fringes, people that are living on the edge, if not deeply entrenched in economic and financial despair.
Who can't even afford to care about their ailments.
How can that be? And I'm glad the association exists to ensure that that is not the case, that they're able to capture as much people as possible. But it is not sustainable without the right level of financing. And I hear the government that this is not the only association that's requesting this type of support and has this type of need. So they have their finances to figure out, but we must be able to identify some level of subvention to be able to give this association for them to continue to create this access that's necessary, because it's costly. It's costly, and Aisha did a good job of explaining that as a young person. And then Ms. Fraser, who's taken it to a next level in terms of the finances that she has to find on a monthly basis where the Ozempic is concerned. And so, yeah, that's what was striking to me about the conversation. But I have a newfound and growing appreciation for the Belize Diabetes Association.
And for the person that was asking about ginger, as far as I know, ginger is safe to consume. It's all about portion control, as Ms. Fraser said. And so I definitely encourage you guys to go and do your own research as well. If you feel that you have some of the symptoms of diabetes, as was described in our earlier conversation, go and speak to a medical practitioner. Get a test done. You might you might be surprised to know that maybe you just need to make small lifestyle changes and you can control the symptoms that you're experiencing, or in some cases, as was mentioned, even reverse.
Yeah.
And of course, then in our final conversation, there's an open call for persons to apply for the Chevening Scholarship. I believe the opening just was made available this month, and that closes in October as well. Quite a prestigious scholarship opportunity for persons who would like to pursue their master's degree in the United Kingdom. Of course, we were able to also hear from 2 recipients, one from 2017, and then of course the most recent 2024 to 2025 Lori. Congratulations to everyone who received. I understand there's a total of 6 persons who have been able to acquire the scholarship. And to anyone else who are interested in applying for next year, please do so. Take the time to go about and do the application process and really sell yourself and what you think you can bring back here to the country.
I like how I like the pronunciation, Chevening.
It's Chevening.
Like,
We've been saying Chevening.
I say Chevening.
Chevening.
So I don't want to say Creole through blood and bones, because I say Chevening. But yeah, congratulations to those scholars, all of the past scholars, those that are right now. I know there's a lot studying right now, and those that are going to study.
All right. Well, we do got to wrap things up. Thank you to everyone who joined us this morning, and also you guys for tuning in with us, engaging with us. Let us know your thoughts on either of the topics that were mentioned. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or even if you want to give a birthday shout out, you can do so via our email. That's oie@channel5belize.com.
You could also catch us live on Facebook every weekday morning at Open Your Eyes BZ.
As well as Instagram for behind the scenes contents. That's OIE Belize. You can even text us or call us on our OIE phone number. That's 675-2555. Don't forget, tonight's the finale of KTV The Remix. We find out who walks away with $10,000. And of course, Season 7 winning, I guess, bragging rights as well. But please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes
and start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
Have a wonderful Tuesday, Belize. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.